How is it going, everyone? It's Caleb here, and I am back with another video game hunt. Same locations that you're probably used to at this point. I will go to some other places soon. However, I've just kind of been on trips, and these trips just happen to be in the same area this year. I've just been kind of busy this year. It's been a very busy year, and it ends up just happening to be the same place. So I will go to some other places eventually, but for now, let's talk about Game World and also Disc Replay. You probably just saw it there that I was looking at the Game Boy Advance games and I saw Rainbow Six. I have seen what Rainbow Six looks like on the Game Boy Advance. Probably not going to pick that one up ever, but unless I find it for really cheap, but it doesn't look like the other Rainbow Six games, needless to say. The whole mission today was really looking for import games, but I still, of course, have to look at some other stuff too. Look at the GameCube games, see if there's anything I'm missing. I'm currently looking for the Sims games, especially Sims in the City. I saw Open Season there. Open Season is actually a really fun game, but I like the 360 version of it. That way you can at least play it in HD. So there's that. I saw some jewel cases. I was just like, are these imports? And they are imports, but they're Sega Saturn imports, so not what I'm looking for. But I realized they're on the other side of this rack. And I was actually blown away with how many PS1 Japanese import games were here. And needless to say, as soon as I saw all these different import games, I started loading up. I saw Everybody's Golf 2 there, which is Hot Shots Golf in America. And that is one that I've seen online for about $10, and they had it for $5 here. So I was saving a lot of money by picking up games that I wanted here instead of trying to pick them up online. And I was just going through and looking at everything they had. I was just I was trying to find anything and everything that I could, because it's not very often where you get to just load up on a bunch of import games just in a store and in person. So I was very excited about that, especially for such a cheap price. So I always try to look at the back of these games. Sometimes I look them up before I buy them. Sometimes I just buy them on a whim if they're cheap enough. Some of these games I did buy on a whim just because of how cheap they were. Like there were some games that were literally $3 and $1. Like they had some great deals. I saw this game here. It's a racing game. I don't know too much about it other than that it's based off a Japanese toy line. So I'm picking it up. I love racing games, and a racing game that we didn't get in America, that sounds like something that I need to pick up. I saw the cover of this game, thought it looked cool, then I saw the back, and when I saw the pictures on the back, I couldn't tell what the hell was going on, so I just didn't get it. Zero Pilot. I love pilot games. I'm not good at them, and sometimes they piss me off, if I'm being honest, but I saw that one, and it was a more historical-looking one, so I was just like, I'll go ahead and pick it up. And then when I did some research later on, I found out what it was about. I kind of felt awkward about picking that one up, but yeah, just not what I was quite expecting. I probably should have expected it, but I didn't. I'll just leave it at that for now, but I saw Everybody's Golf. They had a lot of the first game. They had tons and tons of copies. I don't know if someone just ran across these all at once and just brought them all here or what, but they had just tons of copies of Everybody's Golf, which again is Hot Shots Golf. So I figured why not go ahead and pick it up, right? Might as well. I saw that they even had like the Tetris game. It was like the simple 1500 games, which were like a discount line in Japan. They had those. So I even picked up the Tetris game. I was just like, why not at this point, right? So I was very, very happy. And I mean, I just kept finding stuff. So very, very cool to see all these import games in person. Some games too, it's kind of one of those things whenever I'm doing these recording videos, I notice some things that I don't notice while I'm actually in person, like the game I just picked up. I thought it was just like a simulation flying game, and then it turned out to be an actual like racing flying game, and then I kind of was like, oh, probably should pick that one up too, but it is what it is. I do, of course, look at Game Boy games every time I'm in a game store. I'm always trying to find stuff that I don't have, and I actually kind of messed up. I meant to grab one of these games, and I kind of just forgot about it, but they did have some Game Boy games I was interested in. They had one that said Matchbox, but it was like Pyramids of Raw Matchbox or something like that. It was like a weird name, and apparently actually has nothing to do with Matchbox. But I meant to pick up the Harry Potter that was sitting there, and I completely forgot about it. That was a good price for it, $4. I was looking for South Park as well on the N64. That is a game I'm looking for currently, and unfortunately, I've had kind of a hard time finding it, so no luck here either. I was also looking for a decent price Majora's Mask, but they had 90 on that one, and I think you can get the gray cartridge for still cheaper, so I'm not going to rush in and buy that one just yet. But still, always looking for stuff like that. I'd like to play the Legend of Zelda N64 games, but I just want to find them for fair prices. I don't spend a whole lot on them, so that's something I'm still looking for. Had to walk over down to, of course, now the actual English PlayStation 1 games to see if they had anything that I needed, and they had some stuff that I hadn't heard of before, but nothing too crazy. I saw Blasto there. I had no idea what it was, and I looked at it was some like superhero game, and I was just like, nah, I think I'm good on that one. Crash Bandicoot 3 Warped. I do need to pick up the Crash Bandicoot games eventually. I know that. I grew up with them, but I just have, whenever I know a game is difficult, it's kind of hard for me to want to go willingly buy it, because I like games that make me relax, and those games just make me so infuriated. When I looked at the PS2 games, of course, as well, saw one I had never seen before, Call Decept, never heard of that. Or called it, I don't even know how you pronounce it, but I had never seen that game before, but I thought it was kind of cool to see. But I was looking through here, just seeing basically anything that I hadn't seen before. I saw a Disney game that I had never heard of before. The Corvette game, I actually have that on the Game Boy Advance. And I saw AMF Bowling as well. That is one that I'm thinking about picking up eventually, but I did not pick it up today. The ATV Off-Road Fury games, always love those ones. And Alias. I hadn't really seen anything about that video game before, but it looked kind of interesting. And of course, next stop is Disc Replay. You guys know how I feel about Disc Replay. I saw this game, The Adventures of Cookie and Cream. I had never heard of this game ever. And that is the thing I love about doing at Disc Replay. Whenever I go to Disc Replay, I always hear about something that I see something that I've never seen before. Some sort of PS2 game that I've just never seen before. And I didn't pick it up, but part of the fun of these videos is that I'm able to just kind of like show you guys these videos and kind of document them and then have them on my channel just forever, you know, because I think a lot of these games are really cool to see, but I may not want to actually play them. But it's just being able to see that they exist and document them on the channel is kind of part of the fun of these videos for me. I was looking all up and down the PS2 section, trying to find The Sims. I'm still looking for The Sims. Any of them, especially Sims Herbs. And as I was looking through here, I noticed something. It's right there. Herbs, Sims in the City. My favorite Sims game of all time. I actually stumbled across it. Complete. It actually had the manual as well. I didn't even know it had the manual when I first grabbed it. And then I got to the car, I opened it up, and I was just like, holy crap. The case was so light, I didn't realize the manual was even there. And I saw the SpongeBob games there. SpongeBob games, by the way, SpongeBob movie, fantastic game. If you want a fun game on the PS2, SpongeBob the movie game is amazing. And there you can see I saw the other Sims game. So, yes, so for the first Sims and Sims Herbs, that was pretty awesome. I was pretty happy to have both of those ones. Games that I played a ton of growing up. I love both of those games so much. And yeah, I had to pick them up. Sims 2 was there too, but I actually already have that one. Alright everyone, so I am back from my game hunt. I picked up a lot of video games today. Honestly, for really good prices for a lot of these, especially these Japanese imports. I picked up a ton of games. I picked up some from Game World. I think I actually picked up the most from Game World today, but I did pick up some from Disc Replay as well. We'll go over the Disc Replay ones first, and then we'll go over the Japanese imports and all the other stuff that I picked up at Game World. So first things first, you can see right on the top here, this is from Disc Replay. I got Star Wars Masters of Terras Kai. This is a game I've been wanting for a long time. This is a Star Wars fighting game. It's known as one of the worst fighting games ever. But it does actually still look pretty cool, and it has a lot of expanded universe stuff in it, which I think is pretty cool. Like Mara Jade's in this, and the character on the front is also expanded universe. I can't remember the character's name off the top of my head, but still, I think that this is just a cool thing to have in the collection. It's something I've wanted it for a long time, and this is like one of the first times I've seen it in person, so had to pick that up. I also did pick up South Park, the PlayStation version of South Park. I actually did not know that this came out on PlayStation because the N64 box says only on N64. But apparently a year later, after the N64 version, they decided to release this on the PlayStation as well. So this is the PlayStation version of this game. It is a first-person shooter that runs on the Turok engine. So that's pretty cool. It honestly looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. It just looks crazy, and it looks like it's going to have a lot of South Park humor, as you can see up there. So I'm looking forward to playing that. Picked up Alien Trilogy. Funny thing about this one is I actually was not going to pick this one up. I had a Japanese import that I found there, but when I got up to the front, they didn't actually have the game for it. They only had the case. So I was just like, okay, that's fine. You know what? I'll get this instead because this was about the same price as the import game I was going to pick up. So I got Alien Trilogy. I love the Alien movies, first of all, so it just kind of made sense to pick this up. And it looks pretty cool. Another first-person shooter on the PlayStation 1, and I love my retro first-person shooters. So there's that one. And I think that's an okay price for it. It usually goes for about $35 to $40, it looks like, so not too bad. I did pick up Tetris Plus as well. I do love Tetris Plus. My disc is not in great condition. I picked it up at a flea market one time, just loose. It was like in a little baggie. I picked it up, and it had like Crash Warped and Crash Team Racing, and I think it had Twisted Metal in it, all for like $2. So I went ahead and picked it up because it was crazy cheap, even without the cases. But now I have one that has the case. This is a really fun version of Tetris, and I really like this one. So I definitely wanted to pick this one up. Now, I did pick up a couple PS2 games there also. Picked up The Sims. I love the first Sims, and I actually did not have it. I probably played the other disc so much that it just ended up dying on me because I played The Sims constantly. Sorry if you hear my dogs in the background. I also picked up PlayStation 2, The Herbs, Sims in the City. This is my favorite Sims game. I absolutely love this one. This is just such a wild version of The Sims. It's so different from the other Sims games in the fact that you have all these different places to explore, and just you can walk around these different cities with these different like kind of groups of people, and you can meet these all these different types of cliques and stuff. It's just a lot of fun, and it's really cool. And $10 is a great price for it, and it is complete. It has the manual and everything, so that was pretty cool. So we got 2 Sims games that are awesome. And now we will go over to the stuff I picked up at Game World. Lots of imports. Let's go over the imports first. So, got Project. I think this is Project V8. Is that what it is? Or V6? I'm sorry. That is clearly a 6. So, here's Project V6. This was obviously only $1. This is like some sort of idle simulation game, visual novel type thing. I don't know much about it. But I figured for $1, if it's bad, who really cares? So I picked that up. My Dream Home. This is kind of interesting because this almost looks like Sims, but like it's just like a house creator instead. You can kind of see how like you're designing houses on the insides and like just doing the interior, the outside of it. You're just basically, it just looks like a house designer. So I thought that was actually kind of cool. So again, another really cheap game. So I was just like, why not? This is a Super Technic Challenge. Got a bit of crack on the case, but that's all right. I mean, PlayStation 1 games, it's going to happen a lot of times. But this is a racing game that was only released in Japan, and it looks pretty cool as well. I guess I looked up like the synopsis for the game, and it's about a guy that wants to become like the best drift racer in Japan. So kind of a cool little idea, and looks like it's going to be some fun. So go check that out. Picked up, these are just thinner ones. So these, for some reason, Japan had thicker PlayStation 1 cases, and then they had the regular PlayStation 1 cases. I don't know why that is, but this is kind of how it is. So first things first, here is the Tetris Superlight 1500. The 1500 series was basically a line of video games that came out that was just cheaper than other video games. So this is the Tetris. I don't know if we got this version in America or not, but this is their version of it, and it looks pretty cool. So, I mean, it's Tetris. I mean, if you know what Tetris is, you know it's a good game. It's legendary. Like, might as well pick it up, especially for the price. So, this is Everybody's Golf 1 and Everybody's Golf 2. If you don't know what these are, this is actually Hot Shots Golf in English. But this is just the Japanese version of it, which is pretty cool. Pretty cheap for them, too. I mean, $5 a piece is not bad at all. So definitely wanted to get those. You pick these up online, you're going to pay a lot more for any of these import games. So for this price, like I was very happy with these. Here is Zero Pilot, Fighter of Silverwing. This is this is an interesting one. In this game, I'm pretty sure you are literally playing as a Japanese World War II fighter, and you are literally fighting the Allies. So it's a bit rough, but anywho, moving on. Here is Choro Q2. So this is based off of a Japanese toy line, a toy car line. It is a racing game, and as you can see, it just has a really cool kind of like chibi art style of the cars. Like the cars look like that. If you've ever seen like the tuned version of Hot Wheels, that's kind of what they look like. And that's what the actual toys look like too. So they look really cool though. I mean, this looks like it's going to be a fun little racing game. So I saw that and I had to pick it up. It was a bit, I mean, still only $8. It wasn't that expensive, but I figured for $8, that was definitely worth a shot. So this one is another one that I'm not sure about because this one is going to be, I kind of picked this one up on a whim. It doesn't look like this is going to be an easy game to play. It looks like I'll have to use like Google Translate or something for a lot of this because this is like an actual quiz game. So I was kind of hoping that this was going to be more like Mario Party because I saw the party, but then I saw the gameplay. I was just like, oh, this is no Mario Party. And then I got this. This is the Game of DX, which is the Game of Life, and the Game of Life 3. So I got both of these. $3 for that one, $3 for that one. I figured why not? These again, this is basically just the Game of Life in Japan. I have one of these on the N64. I'm not sure which one, so why not go ahead and pick up the other two for the PS1. Apparently, I'm missing one other one, so I have one and I have 3 here, so I'm missing 2, but maybe I'll come across it in the wild eventually. And then my brother actually picked me up another game while we were there. I thought about picking it up. I was just like, I don't know. But he just grabbed it. He's like, I'm buying it for you. I was just like, okay, thank you. I feel bad, but thank you. And this is Alias. It is based off of an old TV show that used to be on in the 2000s. And I don't know much about it, but it just kind of looks like a cool action game. So I was just like, why not? But there we go. Thank you guys for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this. If you hit the like button, subscribe button down below. I will see you in the next game hunt or the next review, depending on if you watch the reviews. I hope you do. The reviews are fun. So I'll talk to you next time. You have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.